Tekken is my favorite game. It's really intricate fighting.
I think Ridge Racer 5 looks great.
PlayStation 2. It's on everyone's mind these days, and leading us into its North American launch, the excitement and anticipation surrounding it is starting to blow a few minds.
To this day, the PlayStation 2 is the best-selling home console of all time, topping over 155 million units. The PlayStation brand was built on a core appeal. You're gonna get some good games no matter what kind of player you are. Sony always killed it in the third-party space because they made their consoles easy to develop for and established good relationships with devs by publishing titles and providing marketing. The fact that they've had multiple contenders for a mascot over the years says enough about the wide array of quality titles. While the PS1 proved that Sony could contend in the console market, the PS2 solidified their place at the top with hit after hit. I was trying to come up with a short list of the PS2's best games, but there's literally too many. Now it's 2006, E3. Microsoft already launched their next-gen system, the 360, the previous year.
I'm Elijah Wood. Ladies and gentlemen, the Killers. Are you looking forward to this Xbox 360?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting a free one tonight. So Xbox.
But it's no sweat, because the PlayStation team is cooking up the next titan of the industry, the PlayStation 3. I mean, at this point, why worry? We're guaranteed to win this gen too. Right? It's no secret at this point that the PS3 had a very rough first few years. I was only 5 years old when it launched, so I don't remember any of the discourse leading up to its release. Maybe thankfully.
It's a microwave, it's a fucking, what are the grills? The fucking grills, that looks like a fucking spider, so do you fucking fight fucking spiders or some bullshit?
But I do know, through legend, that Sony's E3 2006 conference was the moment that the hype paused, and a deafening drop was heard as people thought for the first time, wait, maybe this won't be chill.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Kazooie.
Kazooie worked with PlayStation founder Ken Kutaragi on the first console, and is partly responsible for the brand's early dominance. Later in 2006, he would become president and CEO of Sony Computer Entertainment as a whole. At this point, he was leading the American arm of the company, and I can totally see why. He's a great public speaker, and he does a bang-up job responding to any doubts levied at PlayStation.
I give you the future of gaming.
We have said on many occasions that the next generation doesn't start until we say it does. And today, PlayStation 3 is real. The future becomes reality. When we entered the portable space with PlayStation Portable, I often received two questions. Why did you wait so long? And why now? And these are two separate questions with one single answer. It's about the ability to offer the right product strategy at the right time.
I'll be real, the first half of this conference is pretty light, a lot of flexing about the PS2's sales, but there are a few nuggets of gold here. For instance, this video showing people around the world who love PlayStation.
What I love about the PlayStation is the feel of the controller in my hands. I like the hard plastic and the little knobby bits.
Well, I heard that the graphics on it was crazy.
The coolest city in the world.
Technology, wireless. I'm gonna beat you, and it's gonna hurt because I don't know.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the president of SC Worldwide Studios, Phil Harrison.
Phil Harrison got his start at PlayStation in the early 90s. A year earlier, in 2005, Sony decided to bring all of their product development groups under one umbrella called SCE Worldwide Studios, and Harrison was chosen to head it up. 3 years later, he would leave and become Cursed Bald Devil, Omen of Bad Fortune. Seriously, I'm not going to get bogged down in the details of every single company he joined, stayed at for 1 or 3 years, yes, or it's that specific, then left after bad times. For reference, his most recent instance of corporate drifting was Google Stadia. Harrison brings on Kazunori Yamauchi, producer of the Gran Turismo series, who presents a tech demo for a GT game based on PS3 hardware. And it looks pretty good. Wow, I can't wait to see what actual games they show off. That's going to be even better. So, minutes earlier, Kaz Hirai said,
And we're certainly not interested in gimmicks, clever rhetoric, or conventional thinking.
Therefore, it only makes sense to throw it over to the iToy. Yeah, the iToy. Remember that? It was a camera? I'm sorry, but anything that requires you to take a real-world peripheral and scan it into the game lands you squarely in the hyper-gimmick category for me. Like, this could have been a regular game about placing monsters on a tile-based board, but no, it's gotta be an iToy game.
Hey! Now that's what I call a duck.
Kaz Hirai returns to show off an exciting feature of the PSP, the ability to emulate classic PS1 games. Now maybe it's just me, but I find this really cool. There's so many amazing PS1 titles to show off this capability. Oh man, the intro to Final Fantasy VII with the swooping city shots, the iconic first levels of Crash Bandicoot or Metal Gear Solid.
Opening, this was actually on the original PlayStation game as well when it was loading the game. Of course, I'm not a very good player even there. The game is powered by Namco. It's Ridge Racer. Ridge Racer. Remember that one? All right, so let me go right ahead.
Oh, Ridge Racer. Cool. I mean, Ridge Racer's cool. No, it's a good game. And then he starts talking about...
Another exciting aspect is the ability for consumers to make microtransactions to quickly add specific items in a game directly from game-specific shops.
Oh no. Wait, Phil Harrison's back to save us with...
What really powers SingStar on PlayStation 3, though, is the network. And this is where the... here we have another HD video showing the great content that we have available to us from our partners in the music industry all around the world. Now, in addition to the ability to download content...
Okay, the PlayStation Store, important, yeah. But he's about to show us the first real next-gen title. Alright, give it up.
The executive producer of Genji 2.
Fuck.
Genji 2 is an action game. The stages of the game will also be based on famous battles which actually took place in ancient Japan. So here's this giant enemy crab. Team at Game Republic has come back to us with a lot of great new features for this game, including such features as real-time weapon change.
Dear God.
And real-time character change.
No.
Let's see if he shows up. Oh, here it comes.
It's behind you.
He's all the way at the end of the screen, so if you'll hold on a second. Oh, here it comes. And you attack its weak point for massive damage.
Bill, thank you very much for that fantastic demonstration.
Okay, classic crab memes aside, this is a terrible demo. I feel bad for this guy, Bill Rich, the executive producer on Genji 2, or Days of the Blade as it came to be known. He just looks alarmed and sweaty and nervous. He paces around the game sluggishly, tripping over his words. He does not make this game look good, and neither does this chugging frame rate. The infamous giant enemy crab won't even get on screen. I saw this and thought, okay, it's just a demo, I'm sure it got ironed out. But it turns out, no. The game got middling to poor reviews, and most of them cited the exact problems seen here. Slow gameplay and bad camera. so maybe it's actually a great demo? Phil Harrison steps in to show off the worst idea ever.
So we have everything that you would expect in a great Formula 1 game, all the incredible graphics, all the great physics, all the great AI, all the great animation. But you know what? There's something missing, and I tell you what that is, and that's a wing mirror. What I have running on a PlayStation Portable here is an interactive wing mirror, which is actually being rendered in real time. And this is being synchronized directly with the PlayStation 3 to give you an accurate position looking backwards from your track. So you can position this next to your TV screen and see for yourself what is coming up behind you. This is a great example of the seamless integration between PlayStation 3 and PlayStation Portable.
Because everyone wants to play a racing game on their nice big TV and have their rear view camera stood up on a tiny screen 6 or 7 feet away. To wash the taste of the Genji demo out, we get what's actually a pretty decent showcase of a bit of Heavenly Sword. PlayStation was positioning this game as a competitor in the character action genre, but it never really gained much of a following, despite being received well enough. As a total inverse of Genji, the Heavenly Sword demo is just gameplay, no commentary, just showing off what the game is. And then it's done, and the guy walks off. Alright, looks like we're on the upswing. What's next?
But we also wanted to show you a quick video of some of the games that are perhaps a little bit further out. So
did you say further out? With your console releasing later that year, you show off 2 games, and then these are further out. Huh. Well, what do you got? Oh. Lair. Oh, Lair. A promising game with a troubled development, ultimately released to lukewarm reviews. Africa. The trailer makes it look like a tech demo, and it basically is. Titled Hakuna Matata in Southeast Asia, it's about nature photography in Africa. Some people enjoyed it for its relaxed atmosphere and gameplay, others found it boring. There's a 0 score review on Metacritic calling it worse than Superman 64? Bro, what did the zebras do to you? Side note, we need more photography games. I think they could have a niche audience. It's like this and Pokemon Snap. Come on. This game looks like it's called Everybody's Golf. In reality, in Japan, it's actually Everybody's Golf 5, even though it's really the 7th entry in the series, except in the PAL region, it's called Everybody's Golf World Tour. But wait, hold the phone. In North America, it's Hot Shots Golf Out of Bounds. Just release it with the original title. Who's gonna be like, oh, I can't play that, it's the 5th game. I don't know what's going on in the story. It reviewed fine.
Slopes down.
You dare defy the ghost of Sparta!
Okay, so when you search up Monster Kingdom, you're going to see Monster Kingdom Jewel Summoner for the PSP, and you'll say, oh, I thought this was a PS3 game. And you're right, Monster Kingdom Jewel Summoner was developed by Gaia and published by Atlas and Sony. This game became Folklore, developed by Game Republic, who also did Genji 2, which is actually Genji Days of the Blade, and also published by Sony. Folklore, not Genji. But also, Genji was published by Sony. Getaway. I'd never heard of this, but apparently it's the 3rd entry in a series of sandbox shooters being developed by Team Soho and SCE Europe. SCEE was also responsible for the next game, 8 Days. This trailer is kind of baffling, but I guess it was still back when publishers thought they could pull the wool over the customer's eyes and trick them into thinking that slapping some UI elements over a pre-rendered cutscene meant that it was actual gameplay. So what was the game actually like? Cancelled. Oh, really? And Getaway? Cancelled. Yep, neither of these saw the light of day. It was difficult to find any sources for this quote, but supposedly Nicolas Doucet, a member of London Studio, explained what happened. I would not say they've been abandoned, just put to one side. Much work had been done. The studio just wanted to focus on its strengths. iToy and SingStar. Given the potential of iPet, priorities have been changed. But the other projects aren't dead yet. Ultimately, the decision to put those games to one side has benefited everyone. I didn't even plan for that. I just started laughing in the middle of reading that. Oh my god, Uncharted. It's a Naughty Dog game. Of course it's going to be good. What a breath of fresh air. And hey, it's Ted Price, president of Insomniac Games, here to showcase Resistance: Fall of Man. Several minutes of real, solid gameplay to give the audience an idea of what they're gonna buy.
That looks like a fucking spider, so do you fucking fight fucking spiders or some bullshit?
Awesome. And Kazooie's back.
Our first party lineup is looking pretty strong, but what about third parties?
Sweet, Sony's known for their third-party lineup. Let's keep up that precedent that Mr. Price just set and see some real games. Foolishness, Tiger. Foolishness. First up is Assassin's Creed. There was so much hype around this game. Is it over? It was like 30 seconds of a cutscene? Here's a Gundam game. No gameplay. Tekken 6? Nothing. John Woo presents Stranglehold? Nope. That downloadable title, Fatal Inertia? No. Some strategy game, Bladestorm? Nuh-uh. Virtua Fighter 5? Try again. Armored Core 4? Dry. Brothers in Arms Hell's Highway? No. And stop putting UI over cutscenes. Okay, Coded Arms Assault? No. Also, cancel. Jesus, is there a single trailer here that lasts more than 30 seconds or shows any actual gameplay? Yes. Oh. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I asked. There's actually one more game that shows actual gameplay here. It's Virtua Tennis 3. There's another, more famous moment coming up, but this is the first real troubling sign that the PS3 was going to have a rocky first few years. It's not even that most of these are bad games, a lot of them were received pretty well. Some of them not so much. That Gundam game released 2006, and Eurogamer gave it a 6 out of 10, saying, and I quote, "Objectively, this is a game that basically sucks." I skimmed over the hardware specs earlier, but the PS3 was a very powerful console for the time it released. Part of that was due to the Cell processor, a new innovation Sony had developed with help from Toshiba and IBM. To quote Redditor SL236, the Xbox 360 is 3 horses. The PS3 is 1 horse and 10,000 hamsters. Everyone knows how to build horse-drawn sleighs, but hamsters are new territory. If you add up how much power you can get out of the system, the PS3 wins hands down. But the hamsters are hard to get organized, and if you just naively take the sleigh you built for 360 and plug the PS3's 1 horse into it, ignoring the hamsters, it's not going to work out very well. For the first time, Sony had dropped something alien in the laps of developers, and even experienced hands were having trouble learning the new architecture. That reliable, easy-to-develop for period was gone. Now it's all about Cell, baby. We splurged on that, and you're going to use it. As a result, third-party games were going to be slower to roll out, and most didn't have enough to show off in a demo, like Resistance. At this point, when the EA Sports guy comes out, I'm genuinely more interested in the new technology there. Seriously, they show off the higher fidelity animations they can get with the PS3, the players tracking the ball as it flies by, the accurate movement of their feet on the court, leading to the side as they sprint. The transition to the 7th generation was much more underwhelming than the previous leaps and bounds the industry made, but I think this part shows off a genuinely cool thing about this generation, just being able to provide more subtle details that bring a higher level of polish. I can't believe this, but the EA presentation is reminding me that it's the little things that can make a game great. Most companies like to leave their heavy hitters for last, and Sony really needed some here. And honestly, they deliver. Final Fantasy XIII has a solid trailer showing a, let's say, exaggerated depiction of the combat system. Look guys, the real one's actually pretty cool. You don't need to make it look like an action movie. They also mention FF Versus 13, which eventually became 15 after they realized they should probably just stop investing into making more 13 games. Other than that, everything's basically here. It's got that awesome battle theme and Lightning's perpetually disinterested face. Hot off the heels of that is Metal Gear Solid 4. Man, what a bombshell trailer. I don't have any particular attachment to MGS, but I got goosebumps watching this. That cliffhanger of Snake putting the gun in his mouth is like... I don't even know how to describe it. Kojima's a genius. Finally, we wrap it back to the console itself. Ken Kutaragi, PlayStation founder, appears and unveils the finalized design for the controller. Shocker, it's basically what all the other controllers look like, except this one has a gyroscope.
Truly a fantastic innovation that is really going to add to the PlayStation 3 success story.
About that. The 6-axis controller would be discontinued within 2 years in favor of the Rumble-enabled DualShock 3. This was to save on costs, and oh hey, speaking of...
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Don't you just love surprises? Isn't that the coolest thing? Back to Kaz.
Today, we're pleased to announce the global PlayStation 3 launch details. $599 US.
What the fuck?
This moment has been memed to death. This is where you could hear a pin drop. For reference, the 360 launched at $399 and $299 respectively. Adjusted for inflation, that's still pretty good, and what most consoles today will start at. $599 adjusted for inflation is holy moly. Even for a luxury item like a game console, that's a lot. Sony believed they could do no wrong. They'd made several fortunes off of the PS2 alone, and for their next system, they were going to pump that thing full of everything they could. Cell processor, a hard disk drive, 4 USB ports, an SD card slot, compatibility with Blu-ray and DVD. It's huge, and the logo is the Spider-Man 3 font. No, seriously, look that up. For God's sake, a year earlier they showed off a build with 2 HDMI ports, 3 Ethernet ports, and 6 USB ports. That was eventually trimmed down, but the point stands. This thing was built like an enthusiast gaming PC, but it was supposed to be a consumer-grade mass-market console. All of the tech poured into it for the sake of being a powerhouse only made games harder to make, and the price tag harder to swallow. The PS3 struggled in its early years, but Sony learned their lesson. They released slim and super slim models, cutting the fluff and dropping the price tag. Devs got comfortable designing for the system, and it slowly built up a great library. Towards the end of its life, the PS3 saw a flood of fantastic exclusives that gave Sony the momentum to come into the 8th generation with a console that was less arcane to develop for and cheaper for the customer.
$599 US, Ridge Racer. Remember that one?
Now that's what I call a duck. Here to demonstrate the game for us is Bill Rich, the executive producer of...
So here's this giant enemy crab.
It's hard to remember that the video game industry is still quite young. There's a lot of cases where history hasn't been repeated enough for companies to learn their lesson. Or maybe it has, and they just don't want to. That too. But I think we can all learn from Sony's blunder here. Even when you're faced with overwhelming success, if you let it get to your head, you're gonna design your own pitfall.